Hello everyone. In this live stream, I'm going to show you how to create custom shadows like this one. So we know that there is a drop shadow feature in CorelDraw wherein if you create a square, a circle, a rectangle, or any shape, and then if you want to cast shadow on it, so you just go to your shadow tool and then you just click and drag, right? So that is fine, but in this casting of shadow, we know that the light is in the front, right? But what if you wanted a shadow casted on the upper left corner or upper right corner? This is not a realistic shadow, right? So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do that. So I have the result here, and this is what I meant, a custom shadow. And I created this one with two types of shadow. One is a vector shadow and one is a bitmap shadow. So, but before going to the shadow, I'm just going to show you how to create this cylinder very quickly in CorelDraw. So, in order to create this one, you go to your ellipse tool, and then you just create an ellipse like that, and then you go plus sign your keyboard, it duplicates, and then move it down with your arrow keys. Okay, move it down, or you can just move it by moving it and then dragging it but holding the control button so that it's going to be aligned, right? So for example, I want it there, so both of these are aligned. If you want to check that's aligned, right? So now what we're going to do is we're going to create an Bezier tool aligned from this quadrant. So going to the circle, the edge of the circle, and it would say edge, and it would say quadrant, because there are four quadrants an ellipse, right? So you go to this quadrant and then go down to the other quadrant, and that's it. And then we are going to create another one. Go to Bezier tool and then go to quadrant to quadrant. Okay. And now what we're going to do is, I'm also going to show you a technique. So when you have circles or ellipses, when you click on it, and if you go to your shape tool, say for example, when you click on the shape tool, you're gonna have this node. So one node per ellipse. If you drag that over in this side, and then try to move your mouse going outside, you're gonna have that, right? So play around with it. I would click on one node and then drag it, and then go to that node, and then I'm gonna move this node going to the quadrant, and then move it away. That's it. And then what we're going to do here is we're just going to fill this with a color by going to your smart fill. I'm going to click on this and also click on this one here. Okay. So I'm going to color this, say, gray. And then this one should be lighter because the light source would be on the upper right corner. So I'm just going to make it lighter like that. And then I'm just going to remove the outline. Right mouse click here to remove outline. So now we have a cylinder. Now casting, I'm just gonna move this over to or I'm gonna delete that so we can concentrate on this one here. So I'm going to create or cast a shadow in this cylinder. But before going to that, if you take a look here, it's there's a gradient from dark to light, right? Because the light source is somewhere in the upper right corner. So what I'm gonna do is, I know I'm clicking on the gray one, right? So Control Z. I'm gonna click on plus sign in your keyboard again. So I duplicated that, and I'll make that black. Okay. And then I'm going to go to my transparency tool, and I'm just gonna click and drag. Okay, so that's how you create a like a gradient, so that you can show that the light source is in the upper right corner here. Okay, so this one is really easy to do. So now we can cast shadows, but the first thing we have to do is we're going to create like a boundary of this cylinder, right? Because what would happen if I'm going to click here and then I'm going to go to my drop shadow, I'll show you what. So that's a drop shadow that it's going to create. So I want to undo that. So I need to include this one. So in order to include this and this one, you're going to select both, and then you're going to create a boundary. Go to shaping and then click on boundary. So boundary means it's the silhouette of the object or the graphic. So I click on boundary, and now it gave me a boundary. So that includes everything, this part of the cylinder and this one here. So if I try to move this over to the right side, so that's the boundary. Now I can cast shadow on that one. So I'm gonna undo that. Control Z, and then I'm going to fill this with a color first, and then later on I'm going to remove the color. So I'm gonna put light gray, and I'm going to remove the outline. Right mouse click here, and I'm going to cast shadow on this one, like a normal drop shadow that we used to do in CorelDraw. Okay, so this is the cast shadow, and this is in front of our cylinder. So I'm going to move this over in this side, and then what I want to do is I just want the drop shadow. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to click on that. Okay, make sure you're clicking on the drop shadow, and then you're going to go to objects and then break drop shadow apart. So once you click on drop shadow apart, now you can delete this because you don't need that anymore, right? So now you're going to put this behind it. So right now it's to front. So you're going to go to objects, order, to back of page. And then you're just going to move it, line it up like that, and then click one more time. And then you're going to click on this one to move it over to the left side. Okay, so there's a term for that, I just forgot. So you just click on that, and then what you're going to do is you're going to click one more time and then just shorten this like this, and then you can play around with the shadow, say for example like that. Okay, and then move this over here, and then make sure, because that's not realistic, that looks like it's floating up, so make sure to move that so that that won't be visible. So like that. And then of course, if the light shadow is in the other side, you just have to mirror this. So click on it and then go mirror. So this is mirror horizontally, and then just move it to the right side. Okay, and then you can also make it adjust. You can adjust something like that. Okay, so I'm going to put it in the original one, which is like that. Okay, so now we're going to go to the second drop shadow, which is the vector drop shadow. This is the vector drop shadow. So if I go to view and go wireframe, see, this is a vector, and these are the bitmaps of the shadow. Okay, so once again, I'm going to copy this, plus sign my keyboard, and I'm going to move it to the right side. And then we are going to get the boundary. So you click on object, click on shaping, boundary. Okay, and then now with this one, I'm just going to color it, say dark gray, and then remove the outline. And then I'm going to click one more time, and then I'm going to skew it. So yeah, that's the term, skew. So if you see that arrow going to the right and left, you click on that and move it there. And then click one more time and then drop it, and then move this to back, right? So go to objects, order, to back of page. And then now you can line it up. And then what I did here, I just put a transparency. So you click on your transparency tool and then click and drag. going up. Then you can adjust the transparency. And you just have to fix, like for example, this one, just fix it, move it up like that. Now, of course, if you want the light source to be in the opposite, you just flip this and then move it to the right. Okay, so that's how you do the drop shadow. So now we're going to talk about what if you have some images like this, right? So here I applied drop shadow to this one. So these are two different shadows. This is the normal bitmap shadow, which you normally use in CorelDraw, and this is the vector shadow. So I have an image here. Okay, so the problem with this image, no, this is not the original image. The original image is actually, I'm gonna plus sign in the keyboard here, and then I'm going to extract the image. So this is the image. Okay, so the problem is, this is the original image. The problem is if I click on my drop shadow and click and drag, just gonna wait. So the drop shadow will be rectangular because it's a rectangular. It's all the bitmaps are rectangle, right? So what we're gonna do is we have to create a path going around here. Okay, and then path, and then you are going to power clip it to put this photo inside of the path, or the. So what I did, I prepared a video and how I did it, and it's I sped up I made it faster so that we would save some time. So here's the video. So first what I did, I put some lines, use my Bezier tool, and go around. Make sure you don't miss a spot. Now with this one, you don't have to be very accurate because it's only the drop shadow that we wanna create, right? So all around, and then we also go around there. We're almost done. And then to be sure, what you're going to do is for the path to make sure that it's a closed path, color it. Okay, so now let's go back to my graphic here. Okay, so I'm gonna delete this one because this is not what we want. So this is what happened on the last part of the video. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to click on the image. So this is the image, right? I'm gonna hit undo here. So I'm gonna go to objects, and I'm going to power clip and then place inside the frame, and the frame is this one here, right? So I click on that, and now if I create a background color here, okay, and put that back, page down, so now it's transparent background, right? So now if you cast shadows on this one, so if you go to your shadow tool and then click and drag, to wait a bit, and you are going to have a shadow. Okay, so now you have to adjust the shadow because this one is too diffused. So in order to adjust the shadow, you go to the shadow settings here. So for example, the feathering, you drop it down to, let's say, 8. Just wait for a bit. Okay, and then you would also like move it away from the image. So I think that looks fine, right? Because we're going to distort the shadow. So now if I click on this one, we have to break the shadow apart. So you go to objects, and then you go to break drop shadow apart. So click on that. So now it's separated from the image. So now this is behind, so that's fine. We don't need to change it. So we just click one more time and then skew it. And then click one more time and then squeeze it down. And then probably squeeze it some more and then skew it some more. And then you be the judge. And then, but make sure to make it realistic. Make sure that you are, you are doing it, because if not, if it's like that, looks like the two people here are like floating up, right? So just make sure that you are casting it, like you have to adjust the position of it. Okay, so that looks good. So now that's it. So now that is a custom shadow, right? So now let's go to the vector one. So this is the vector. This is the vector sample. So I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna grab this and then going put it here. And then, so since you know that this is already like a power clip path, right? So if I go to view and click on wireframe, I know it's a path, like the image is inside a path, because we need that path, right? We need that path for our shadow, for our vector shadow. So I'm going to go back to enhance. So what you're going to do is you're going to go plus sign your keyboard to duplicate this. And I'm going to teach you, I'm just going to delete this. I'm going to teach you how to extract, right? So this is already power clip, the image power clip. So extract is this icon here, extract contents. So when you click on extract contents, the image will be gone, okay, will be separated. And then I only need this one, right? So I'm going to make this a, sorry, one sec here. So in order to remove this X here, I'm going to remove the fill. And then, sorry, I have to break power clip curve apart. So now I could, so I'm going to go view wireframe. Okay, so now, sorry, that didn't work. So I think the best thing to do is you get a copy of your, another way to do it actually is going to your objects and then go to shaping and then click on boundary. So boundary will create a, like a silhouette of your power clip, right? So now you can make that gray and then right mouse click here and then put this to back, shift page down, and then click one more time and then skew it, and then click one more time and then compress it. And now you can position your shadow, and then you can just, let's position that better, like that. And you can just click and drag going up. There you go. There. So now you got two custom shadows here. So yeah, so that's it for today. So just make sure that you know where the light source is. So if the light source is over in the upper right corner, you cast a shadow to the left here. And of course, if the drop shadow is in the left side, you cast it to the right side. Okay, so I hope you like my my video. This is all about custom shadow, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And it's also good to turn on the notification bell to make sure that you'll be notified once I upload a new tutorial. So I stream live daily, and that's it. I hope you enjoy it, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.